What's up, YouTube, bro? It's your boy Strawzy, man, with an I, not a Y. How y'all feeling today? And today, what I got for y'all, bro, is animated story. I love doing these, man. These are genuinely fun, but I'm not even gonna keep y'all waiting. We finna jump right into these. The first one is called Story. This is story one, and this one is called, I believe, Haunted House. We're gonna get right into this, man.
I have always been a huge fan of horror movies. This story is out of that time when the
Right.
movie Paranormal Activities came to theaters. I went to watch the movie with two of my friends, James and Andy. Needless to say, we were thrilled after watching this movie. The concept of moving into a house and witnessing supernatural occurrences gave us an adrenaline rush. One evening,
Why?
Andy and I went to James's house for a sleepover. We were chilling in James's room. James started to talk about some articles he read online that has claimed haunted houses do exist. I was sitting near his bedroom window and smoking when Andy said, "Chris, give me a drag." I passed the cigarette to him and said,
Greg is crazy.
"I have also read such articles. I wish we could visit a haunted house." Andy exhaled smoke out of the window and replied, "Who says you can't?" and started smiling with mysterious
Nope.
eyes.
No,
James said in a surprised
Nope.
voice,
that's what you
"What do you
don't
mean?"
do.
Andy turned to us and said, "There is a house residing near Crystal Lake. It's a half an hour drive from our town."
Wait, wait though. You see his face? Do you see his face? Now, is that a trustworthy face? I'm gonna just leave that up to you to answer.
People say that that house is haunted. James scratches his head and said,
James, no.
"Oh, you mean the Millard house?" I was clueless about this place completely, so I interrupted their conversation and said, "What house? Who's Millard?" James immediately got up from his bed and switched on his laptop.
This money don't got no.
He surfed a few minutes and then said, "Yes, I was right. I read about this place. This house has a very horrifying history. Years ago, a man named William Millard lived there. He had a beautiful daughter, but that man was very strict and hardly let his daughter go out of the house. One day, he found out that the daughter was having an affair with their mailman. Mr.
What?
Millard got so angry that he lost his senses and pushed his daughter down the stairs. The daughter broke her back
What?
and could never walk like a human.
Why would he do
Some
something
say
like that?
she crawled around the entire house at night like a dog. A week after this incident, passerbys called the cops complaining about a rancid smell coming from the house. As the cops entered the house, they discovered Mr. Millard's dead body near the stairs. He fell from the stairs and broke his neck. They
Ooh.
found the daughter dead on her bed. I smirked and said, "What is so horrifying about that?
How did
The
she-
daughter probably took revenge on her father and later killed herself too." James looked at me with wide eyes and said, "As per the forensic report, the daughter died on 20th March, 1 p.m. in the afternoon on her bed. And Mr. Millard's time of death? Pronounced 20th March, 1 a.m. at night. There was no sign of forced entry into the house. So yeah, people say the daughter's angry spirit killed her father." Andy said, "Want to check out the place?" What say?
No.
James and I agreed to him and
No.
we decided to go to Crystal
I do not
Lake
wanna
that weekend.
place.
I took my brother's car and we left one Saturday evening. We wanted to feel the chills, so we chose to go after dark. I will forever regret this decision. Andy was right. It took us 30 to 35 minutes to reach there. The place, Crystal Lake, was an appropriate name as the lake water was reflecting the entire starry night sky like a mirror. We parked our car near the lake. It was a full moon night. The moonlight was flooding all over the place. The Millard house was standing like a giant on the other side of the lake. We didn't know that to reach the house, we have to cross the lake. Luckily, there were two small boats tied to the wooden platform of the lake.
But what if
The
you gotta get out
ambiance
of there
around us
quick,
was
though?
looking very spooky.
Like,
Due
what
to
you
the
gonna
vast
do?
open area, we could hear each and every sound. The crickets chirping, the hollow wind passing by, and the churning water waves in the lake. James locked his car and we got onto a boat. James and I started to paddle the boat while Andy fixed our flashlight. When we reached the opposite side of the lake, the house appeared way scarier than it did before. The broken windows were hanging as if they would fall at any moment. Weeds have grown all over the walls of the house. There was no sign of light coming from the house. We stepped on the house porch and pushed the main door. The main door opened with a loud creaking noise, signifying no human being entered here in decades.
Okay.
Andy flashed the light inside, and almost a colony of bats flew overhead, scaring the shit out of us. I said in a tensed voice, "Guys, are you all sure about this?" Andy replied, "Come on now,
It was too late
stop
now.
being a kid." James and Andy got inside, and I had to follow them. The entire house was in darkness. The only source of light was our one flashlight and the pale moonlight coming out of the broken window. We realized we are standing in the living room of the house and noticed a huge stairway lying in the middle of the room. James said in a low voice, "This is the stairway from where Mr. Millard fell down and died, breaking his neck." Cobwebs and dust were surrounding all over the house. I even saw a few bats hanging from the ceiling of the house. Andy flashed his light towards the left corner and said in a mocking voice, "Check this out, guys." We saw a painting hanging on the left corner wall. We went there and saw an oil painting featuring an old man with an angry-looking face standing near a fireplace. And just beside him, a girl aged around 17 to 18 years sitting on a chair. "This must be Mr. Millard and his daughter," said James. The girl was actually good-looking, but even in that picture, one could easily tell how extremely sad she was.
Put your head.
It felt like tears will roll down her eyes any minute. Andy said in a sarcastic tone, "If I have her, I would have to keep her away too." I was getting really annoyed with his disgusting jokes. I said, "You should not say things like that. It's very disrespectful, man. Think about all the tortures she has gone through." Andy shrugged his shoulders and replied, "Yeah, whatever," and started to walk towards the staircase. James said, "Where are you going?" He replied, "Let's see the daughter's room. We have come so far not to roam around the house for a while. It's anyways obvious there's no ghost here." James started following him too. I turned around to go with them too, but just then, I felt like I heard a giggling sound.
What?
I stopped and said, "Guys, did you hear that?" James said,
This room.
"Hear what, Chris?" Before I could tell what I just experienced, I heard Andy say from upstairs, "Come on now, enough with your girly tantrums." I felt very insulted and decided not to speak a word to Andy. As I walked upstairs, I heard the wooden stairs creaking with the pressure of my feet. After reaching upstairs, I saw James and Andy standing in front of a closed door. I asked, "What's wrong?" James replied while turning the doorknob, "I think the door is jammed. It's not opening." Andy told,
That means don't
"Hold the
go in
light.
there.
Let me try." Andy tried really hard but couldn't open the door. We were standing there in front of the closed door and thinking about what to do next just when we heard a giggling sound. Everyone got shocked by the sudden sound. I said in a panicked voice, "James, I've heard this sound downstairs. I think we should leave now. We had enough, guys." Andy flashed the light all over, but we couldn't see anyone. Then he said in a curious voice, "Maybe the sound is coming from this room." I don't know if you will believe me or not, but suddenly, the doorknob clicked on its own and the door opened. We immediately looked at the room.
No!
It was an old, dusty room. There was a small, torn-out, dirty bed lying in the middle. The pale moonlight coming from the window made the room quite visible to our eyes. We were about to step into the room when we heard the giggling sound again. It was the sound of subdued laughter of a female voice. The hair at the back of my neck stood up. I said in a whispering voice, "Guys, let's go." Suddenly, James pointed out on the side of the bed facing the window and said in a scared voice, "What? What is that, Andy?" I felt as if a dog-like creature was sitting near the window, but it was too dark for us to see things clearly. Andy pointed the flashlight into that direction and our blood turned cold. There was a girl on the ground near the window. She was standing like a frog. She was facing the ground. For a moment, none of us could utter a single word. It was as if all of our hearts stopped the very moment and we can't move anymore. The girl lifted her face and the flashlight started to flicker. We couldn't see her face clearly due to the flickering, but then the light kept switching on and off for no reason. And with every flash of light, we could see the girl's vicious face with changing expression. With the first flash, we saw her sad face. With the second flash, we saw a huge ear-to-ear smile on her face. With the third flash, we saw her expressionless face with wide eyes as if she can see through us. We were so shocked that we almost forgot to run. Just then, the girl made the same spine-chilling giggle and started to crawl towards us vigorously like a hungry demon. We all finally got our senses back and started to run for our lives. James and I were in front and Andy was running behind us. James kept saying, "Run, run!" Andy was screaming like a 10-year-old saying, "Don't leave me here! Please! She is behind me!" We reached the main door and turned around for Andy.
All that tough
We saw
talk.
Andy was almost halfway on the stairs and the girl was crawling
Run,
behind
fool.
him, following him like
Run.
an animal. Somehow, we all managed to get out of the house and jumped on the boat. Andy dropped the flashlight on the lake in a fit of fear. James and I started paddling like maniacs. Andy was sitting on the boat, facing his back at the house. He got so freaked out that he kept saying, "I can still hear her evil laughter. Paddle faster, faster." James and I realized that he has gone into shock, because as far as our eyes went, there was no one in front of the house. James said in a low, panting voice, "Maybe she can't leave the house." I didn't say anything, just kept paddling. I still don't know how we managed to return home that night, but ever since this incident, news about any haunted place makes me sweat.
No.
I broke up with my boyfriend, whom I dated for 3 years. Even though we
Why
weren't
is a man
separated,
voice?
I remained in touch with him as a friend. He's a nice guy, but I just felt it wasn't working between us anymore. My best friend, Tina, suggested me to start casual dating
You know
again.
she heard what you just
She
shared
said
at
it will
the
help
side,
to get
though.
over this breakup. To be honest, last 3 years I hardly went out with new people or socialized that bit. Speaking about casual dating, no app is appropriate than Tinder. At least that's what I used to believe. One evening after coming home from work, I sat down on my bed and registered on Tinder. After going through some guy's profile, I got bored for not finding a good match and eventually dozed off.
Damn, she made
The next day,
I made her
I went
fall
back to
asleep.
work when my friend Tina called me. Tina said, "Jill, you know what happened this morning? Tom called me and asked me how you were doing. I kind of told him that you were back to Tinder again, to kind of give him the idea that you have moved on. I hope that wasn't too much from my side, right?" Tina has always been like this, taking things on her own hand all the
Right, bro, that's
time.
bogus.
I
Yeah,
expected
alright, you
something
should
like this
ask,
already, so I replied with an upset face, "Yeah,
but
I will
came out of
handle it.
love, so
Bye,"
real
and
niggas
disconnected
real.
the phone. I called Tom that night and apologized on Tina's behalf. Tom has always been nice to me. He said in a mature tone,
Aw, man,
"It's okay, Jill. I got your signal. I wish you the best. But whenever you need, don't hesitate to contact me. Take care." I felt bad for him, but his sense of understanding made me admire him too. A few days passed,
Don't
and
do
I
it.
went on
Don't
with
go
my
back.
life.
Don't go
I
back.
started going out with my friends,
That's for
and
you.
sometimes with their mutual friends
know who you
for a
are.
drink or movies.
Don't go back. You
One
broke
Sunday
it.
afternoon, I was chilling in my room when I received a request from a guy on Tinder. I opened his profile and started to check out his pictures. The guy wasn't that handsome, but he had a friendly face. I accepted his request, and we started chatting on Tinder. His name was Mark. He said he works in a department store close to my location. We kind of hit it off. It seemed we had quite similar tastes in music and food. Mark asked me out for a lunch date. We decided to meet the next day at a local restaurant. I reached the restaurant 5 minutes late and noticed Mark sitting at a corner table, smiling at me.
Ooh.
He seemed attractive in real life. He had a good height and charming nature. His flirtatious nature was a bit edgy for a first date, but somehow I enjoyed his fresh attention after a long time. The date went well, and we decided to meet again
At
sometime.
most.
Mark started texting me regularly, and I too kept responding. One day, we were talking over the phone, as usual, when Mark asked me, "So, are you in a relationship right now?" I replied in an awkward tone, "Well, if I was, I wouldn't be talking to you all this time," and laughed a bit to loosen up the conversation. Mark didn't respond to my joking tone and said, "Love has become a joke these days, you know. You can hardly trust people." I realized he might have been through a really bad breakup, but I chose to stay out of his personal affairs. With more days passing, Mark always tried to slip into our conversations and how a heartbreak is the worst thing to do to anyone. I felt bad for him, but we kind of came a bit close. One day, Mark asked me to go on a dinner date with him. He came to pick me up from my house. As I got into his car, I could smell booze on him. He didn't look drunk, but he told me he went for a few drinks earlier. It didn't worry me because he was on his best behavior so far. He was driving carefully too. Around 9 p.m., we reached the restaurant. We sat down and ordered the food. Mark said while smirking at me, "Hope you won't mind if I order some drinks." I actually didn't mind because it was good to see him having fun. Not a single time he talked about relationship issues. Instead, he was very much flirting with me. I was blushing with his compliments. He drank 4 pegs of whiskey in just half an hour. Finally, I got a little bit worried and said, "You have to drive also. Don't forget that."
Right.
Mark looked at me. His eyes got stuck at mine. The way he stared suddenly creeped me out. Then he said, "Jill, I really like you. I would like to take you home after dinner." It has been quite a while I'm going out with him, so I kind of wanted to get close to him, but seeing him getting so drunk, I wasn't feeling that sure. I fumbled and said, How far is your place?" He replied, "Not that far. Come on, let's go." I couldn't say no to him, even though his sudden behavior change seemed unusual to me. He got into his car and started the engine. The roads were empty. He started to speed up the car. I got scared and said, "Mark, please drive slowly. You're scaring me." He looked at me and then started to chuckle, as if I said something very stupid. After leaving the town, we got onto a dusty road. I said, "I didn't know you live in the outskirts. How far now?" Mark replied in a low but firm voice, "Almost near." We reached in front of a wooden house after 10 minutes. The house appeared quite old and out of maintenance to me. The entire house was in darkness. We got down from the car and Mark said in a mocking voice, "Welcome to Lion's Den," and started to chuckle in the same manner. I thought it was all because of the alcohol in his stomach. As we got inside, Mark switched on the light. The house was really old. I could see a layer of dust on the couch and furniture in the living room. He took me upstairs. There was a bedroom and bathroom upstairs. The bedroom also appeared unclean and smelly. It felt like no one had cleaned the room for a while. Mark told me to sit on the bed and went to the kitchen. I waited for a few seconds when suddenly I saw something shining under the pillow. As I lifted the pillow, my heart sunk in horror. There was a sharp knife under it. I immediately got up and tiptoed to the kitchen. As I peeked inside, I saw Mark mixing something into a glass of wine. Is this guy planning to drug me and then slit my throat? Oh God, I made a huge mistake. I was out of the idea. There was no way I could get out of this house because Mark locked the door using his house key. It felt strange for me then, but I didn't care about it earlier. God, how stupid am I said to myself. Mark lifted 2 glasses on his hand and started walking towards the bedroom. I already came to the bedroom before he could realize that I had understood his vicious plan. He got inside and looked at me with his wide eyes and smiled. His face was looking all evil. He then said in a spine-chilling, cold voice, "Here's your drink, Jill. Enjoy." I knew there's no way I can fight this guy and get out of this house alive. So a plan came to mind. I said, Thanks. Hey, can I use your bathroom for a sec?" Mark replied, "Of course, but don't make me wait too long," and smirked at me. I got up and went to the bathroom. As soon as I locked the bathroom door, I dialed my ex-boyfriend, Tom. He picked up the phone and said, "What a surprise, Jill. So what's..." But before he could finish, I replied in a broken but low voice, "Please help me. This guy's trying to kill me. I need your help, Tom," and started whimpering. Tom replied in a panicked voice, "Oh shit, where are you? Share me your location." I shared with him my live location, and Tom said, "Listen, Jill, just hold on for some time. I am coming there as fast as possible." I stood inside the bathroom like a statue. I was completely freaked out and paranoid. Suddenly, a knock appeared on the bathroom door. I heard Mark's voice. "Jill, did you take something that is mine?" Mark said. My hands turned cold. Oh my God, this guy now knows. He hasn't figured out that I've taken his knife with me. Mark started to bang on the door. "Come on out, doll. I've planned a romantic night for us. Don't make me force you." The bathroom door was made of half glass and half wood. Hence, I could see Mark's figure leaning on the glass. He almost stuck his entire face on the glass and said, "Jill, don't make me force you. Come out and give me my knife back." I started screaming and crying, "Please let me go." But what Mark did next shook me from the inside. He started banging on the glass with his head. Cracks started to appear on it, and blood splattered on the glass too. He was hitting the glass like a maniac, with his head screaming, "Open, open now." Suddenly, I saw Tom calling me. I picked up the call and Tom said, "I'm here. Where are you?" I was in no position to explain further. I rushed to the bathroom window and luckily it was open. Without giving it a second thought, I jumped. I hurt my ankle, but I saw Tom standing in his car on the road. I sprinted to him and got inside his car. I screamed with the top of my lungs, "Drive, Tom, drive now." He drove the car away, and that night I took sleeping pills to sleep. Tom stayed back with me. It's been a few days since this incident. Last night, we sorted things out and are back together again. I can't trust any unknown guy anymore. Tom is taking a shower right now in my bathroom. But suddenly a text has come to his phone. Reply from an unknown number. The text reads, "Got the payment, thanks." It is a reply to a text that Tom sent to this number. Tom has texted this number last night. "Got her back. Thanks for all the help. Sent you the money."
Oh. All right. So for the last and but not least one, our last one I'm gonna do is this one is called "Other Lily." It's by David Romero. So make sure I go check him out. And yeah, we're gonna see what this one about. I like the animation. It's nice. Like the sound of the clock too. The good animation. Very detailed. I like that. They ain't say nothing yet. That's building suspense. I ain't gonna hold you. Oh, okay. She got a little sister. Is that her daughter? Other Lily. Whoa. That's weird. That's weird. Or maybe I'm... I gotta be her little sister or something. Ooh. 3 a.m. Think about hitting this. I know what y'all thinking I'm supposed to be home, ma. She can't move. Sleep paralysis. She ran. What's going on? Oh! Oh my! What is that thing? What is that thing? It's gone. It's gone. Oh my! What was happening to her phone? But I like how they didn't say nothing yet. Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She going on. Wait. Did she check on her sister though? Did she check on her sister? She had to be raining. Oh snap. Look, I'm looking too. The glasses broke. The glasses broke. Oh! Oh! It was her sister. No, it's not. Wait, wait. So is this all in her sister's dream? That's why she ran to her sister's room, opened it up. She looked, left back out. Remember, this just happened. Remember, this just happened. Ran to the kitchen. Is this why it's broke? Oh, but it took her. Oh my god. Wait, wait, wait. So was she in the house by herself the entire time? Because if it was her sister's dream, but all of that was fake, or was it just a recap of what happened and why it happened?